Good evening, friends. Today we will be talking about Kurma Jayanthi. What is Kurma Jayanthi? Kurma is a term used within many Puranas which describes one of the avatars, the second avatar of Vishnu in this world, as a turtle, something like a tortoise. So the Kurma Jayanti is a day of celebration for Vishnu, for Lord Vishnu being incarnated as a turtle and then helping the gods defeating the demons. This is Kurma Jayanti. So according to the Puranas, there's a story associated with this Kurma Jayanti. First, let's go through the story as such, and then we will try to see the real meaning of it. Once upon a time, Lord Indra was riding on his elephant, and a sage, Durvasa Rishi, came to him and he offered a garland of flowers. Indra took the garland and he kept it on the head of the elephant, Airavata. The elephant, irritated by the smell of the garland, took the garland and put it under its feet and trampled over it. Durvasa became angry and he cursed Indra that he would lose his powers and will face defeat in the hands of the demons. Lord Indra couldn't do much. He pleaded, but he of no avail. So he sought the help of God Vishnu, and Vishnu suggested Lord Indra that he, together with the other gods, should take Amrit, or the divine nectar, and drink it, so that they will have the strength to defeat the demons. Accordingly, the gods as well as the asuras agreed to churn the milk of ocean, or ocean of milk, with a big mountain, and the churning rope was Vasuki, the serpent. When they did that, the mountain could not be balanced. It was about to sink on the ocean. Lord Vishnu, in his second avatar, came as a turtle, or Kurma, and took the burden of the mountain on his back so that the churning could continue. As the story goes on, there were 14 different gifts which came out by the result of this churning, and either the devas or the asuras took possession of them. At the end of the day, the Amrit came out, the divine nectar, and Lord Vishnu took the form of Mohini, and then he himself managed to distribute the nectar only to the gods, except for one Asura, who is Rahu Ketu. And thus the gods drank the Amrit and they became immortal, and they were once again powerful over the demons. This is the story of Kurma. What does that mean? The whole story starts with the sage Durvasa offering a garland to Indra. So first let's start with Durvasa. What is Durvasa? Dur means negative. Vasa means Vasam. It is habitat or residence. Durvasam, or in short form it is called Durvasam. In other words, Durvasana comes from the previous incarnations. The negative karmic patterns, or in other words, which are called prartha karma. That means in the previous incarnations one might have gained some good characters or bad characters, and such karmas are supposed to be experienced in one's life. Not everything. The whole bunch could be called a sanchita karma, but the ones which are supposed to experience or go through in one's current lifetime are called prartha karma. So these karmas are represented in this story in the form of Durvasa. He is mentioned as a saint, a great devotee of Lord Shiva, but he also is of short temper. He gets angry very quickly. So this mentions the negative karmic impressions of one's previous lifetime, which he is supposed to enjoy or undergo in his current lifetime. So Durvasa gave a garland to Lord Indra. That means the previous incarnations, in his previous incarnations, someone has done some good things, and that was presented to Lord Indra. Indra, who is Indra? He is the controller of the senses. The senses are the gods, the five senses, the human five senses are gods, and the one who controls them is called Indran. Indriyam are the senses. Indran is the one who controls them. It is the mind. So, some good karmic patterns or good karmas are being presented to someone's mind, but the mind, which is Indra, placed the garland on the head of the elephant. That means the mind, without knowing what to do with the good powers, it gave those powers under the control of the senses. That is what is meant by he kept it on the head of the elephant. What happens when you give something good to your senses? When you are under the control of your senses, that means you are lost. That's why in all the religions they say don't give importance to your senses, control the senses with your mind, and so on and so on. So what is meant here is the good karmas are presented to a human being, and without knowing what to do with them, the mind, if it assigns these good karmas or good situations which comes up in one's life, they give or associate these good things to their senses. When someone is having a lot of money, for example, he might spend too much on things which his eyes might like or which he would like to enjoy in a worldly manner, and then he will be addicted to that. So this is one example. So when this was given under the control of the senses, what happens? The garland was trampled. The elephant spoiled the garland. That means the senses took control of the good habits or from the previous incarnations, and then it spoiled it. Because of this, Durvasa gave a curse to Lord Indra. That means Lord Indra, the mind, was now in a strange situation. It had good things, but now it is lost. So what happens then is the question. So in the human body, there are good and bad things. Always there is a fight between good and bad. Always. Kurukshetra, the Mahabharata war took place in Kurukshetra. That Kurukshetra itself is the body, good and bad. The fight is always ongoing. Likewise, in the human body, there are gods and demons, devas and asuras. There is always a fight. Always. If one says that I'm a pure guy, my mind is very, very pure, he's lying. You cannot have a pure mind unless you go to the extremes and become self-realized and conscious about God and so on and so on. If you're a normal human being, there is fight going on between good and bad in your mind. It's common. It's normal. That is normal. Yeah? And overcoming such situations is all the core essence of the Puranas. So, what happened? Durvasa gave a curse to Lord Indra. At that time, the mind did not know what to do. It started to pray to God, which is Lord Vishnu. And then Vishnu suggested to churn out the ocean of milk, or the milk ocean, with a big mountain, with the help of the demons. What does that mean? In our human body, as I mentioned earlier, we have the devas and asuras, God and demons. If you want to overcome something, you cannot do it alone. It's not easy. If you are someone who gets angry very quickly, do you think it is easy to subdue that? No, it is not easy. You cannot win your negative characters. You have to make peace with them. There is no other way. There is no other way. I mean, people say that, yeah, I was like this and after doing meditation for 5 days I became... No, you cannot become like that. The Bhagavad Gita clearly says everyone is driven by his own nature. Then what is the purpose of self-restraint? You cannot do that. The only way to overcome that is to make peace with your negative habits. In the sense, okay, you accept that you have a negative character, and then whenever it lifts its head up, you try to control it by saying, okay, I'm not doing this because la 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 la. This is the way how to tame your negative characters. By force, you can't do that. Now, so Vishnu suggested to churn the mountain. What does that mean? In the human body, the sea is said to be the whole body, with the belly as the ocean. And the mountain mentioned here is Mount Meru. People call it Mount Meru, but it is not really Mount Meru. Mount Meru is referred to in another place, but this is Mandagi, Mount Mandaga, Mount Mandagi. This is the backbone. This is the backbone of a human being. And the serpent mentioned, serpent Vasugi, mentioned here is the Kundalini energy, which is located at the base of the spine. When one triggers or one awakens the Kundalini energy, it can be done. It will bring up all the bad and good things which you had in your previous incarnations. What does that mean? Okay, let's go from the story. The Asuras and the Devas agreed to churn the mountain. That means the Kundalini awakening was happening, and then the mountain began to sink. That means the backbone, the mountain, was about to sink into the ocean, and Lord Vishnu took the form of a kurma or turtle, and he held the mountain on his back. What is Kurma? It is the second avatar of Lord Vishnu. What is the first avatar? It's a Matsya, fish. What does that mean? These avatars of Lord Vishnu, they have a great story. They indirectly, within these avatars, you can find the human evolution which has happened over the past. The first avatar of Lord Vishnu was a fish. Yeah, the fish. What does Matsya? What does this Matsya mean? Avatar means. If you look at the human evolution, there is still a fish called lancelet fish, which has got a notochord. They call it as notochord, which is not really a backbone, but a small rod-like structure, jelly but stiff, and jelly made stiff, not a backbone as such. Even now, you can still find these lancelet fishes, and they are supposed to be the first survived ones, are calculated or estimated to be around 500 million years ago. Yeah, so this is the first lancelet. I'm talking about the human evolution, how human beings came into existence according to science. Yeah, not according to the Puranas, but according to science. 500 million years ago, these fishes were found with a backbone in the form of a notochord. And then, if you look back in the human evolution history, you will find 200 million years ago, the first evidence of turtles were found. So just after, it is happening after the fishes with a backbone. Now with the backbone, which is related to the Kurma avatar. And this Kurma avatar, in this turtle, if you look at the backbone of a turtle, it has got three bits. The first bit can move, the tail end can also move a bit, but the middle portion cannot move. It is fixed, it is not mobile. Yeah? So it is the development of the backbone. Likewise, in the Puranas, if you look at some pictures, how the avatars of Vishnu have been picturized, the first two avatars contain the bottom portion of the fish as well as the Matsya avatar, and the second avatar, which is the Kurma avatar, contains the lower portion of the body of Vishnu as the animals. Yeah, so it was the consciousness at that time, according to the Puranas, were in the form of animals, and the top portion showing Lord Vishnu. So if you look at the picture of a Matsya avatar, you will have Vishnu on the first half, and the lower portion of the body will be a fish. The second avatar, the Kurma avatar, is also the same. The top portion will be of Vishnu, and the bottom portion will be of the tortoise or turtle. From this point onwards, if you look closely, it reverses. In the sense, the lower portion, the Varaha avatar or Narasimha avatar, they all contain the lower portion as the human body, and the upper portion as the animals. And then Vamana, Krishna, Rama, it goes on. So, restricting ourselves to this subject, Lord Vishnu appeared on earth in the form of a turtle. Yeah? And then he supported the churning of the milk. And then if you just to complete the story, the gods and the devas agreed to churn the milk, ocean of milk. When they did that, Vasuki, the serpent, gave up poison. So this is the first bit, what comes out of Kundalini awakening. What I mean is, people in the modern days, they are easily tempted with Kundalini awakening and they go for it. Kundalini awakening was once a very, very sacred thing. It will take one to the consciousness of God. That is true. But what happens is, all the negativity, karmic influences or karmic patterns which one has crossed so far in his previous incarnations will come up. So either in the olden days, the Kundalini awakening was kept as a secret and restricted only to people who really were serious about that, because during the preparatory phase, the gurus, they tried to encourage the student to really let go or to solve the karmas which one has accumulated, and then awaken the Kundalini so that he could live with the newly generated force. But nowadays people are interested in Kundalini and then just go for it without any preparation, which means this is the poison, the halahal, which came out of the Vasuki serpent, which Shiva had to drink. So anyway, so out of this churning of this mountain, 14 different things came out of the ocean. These 14 things mentions, or let's say some of them are the goddess. Lakshmi came out, Kamadhenu came out, and then Apsara, Radhi, they all came out. Out of this, there were 14 different gifts which came out of this ocean. These are the gifts which one would have by awakening the Kundalini. Wealth, health. Health is the last bit. Wealth, this will come. This will come, and there are many other things which one would acquire once he crosses this Kundalini phase. But one will have to be patient. At the end, Dhanvantari came out with the pot of Amrita, and the Asuras wanted to have it. But again, Lord Vishnu took the form of Mohini, and then he managed to distribute that Amrita to the Devas first. That means again this Maya, this delusion. And what does that mean? The negative characters of a human being will always try to acquire power whenever there is a chance. Always. Even at the end of the churning of the milk of the ocean, the Amrit was obtained, and the Asuras wanted to have it first. That means all these powers which I mentioned earlier, the Devas wanted to take control. Once they take control, then they come up again high in power. On the other hand, these powers, for a real spiritual person who is on his way to find what is the real truth about these stories or what is the real purpose of life, he will not, or he should not be bothered about the extraordinary powers which comes as a gift in this path. This is the meaning. He should still go ahead. If one is convinced of the gifts, then that's it. That's the end of his spiritual path. Then it is no more spiritual. But if one leaves away these gifts and then still continue, at the end the Amrit was appearing, and then the Asuras wanted to claim that first. Again, they were subject to delusion by Lord Vishnu in the form of Mohini. Yeah, that means the negative forces were tricked. They got cheated by Maya or delusion, and Vishnu gave this nectar to the Devas first. So this Kurma Jayanthi really represents the victory of the Devas over the Asuras with the help of Lord Vishnu in his avatar, which is in his time period, which should be around 200 million years ago according to science. May God bless you. Thank you.